back to Breaking Down the Barriers. I'm Fitz Houston. Today we're getting into a few stage terms as far as what is considered a normal stage etiquette, so to speak. Now, of course, a lot of my episodes cover film and television, and I like to actually mix the two together because realistically, the best way to act is to have both worlds, the live theater from theater and television and film. Of course, people like to run television and film because usually there's a lot more money per project, so to speak, especially when you get known. But you really miss the camaraderie of the audience. Now, of course, sitcoms, you do have a live audience there, but you know, they stop and start, which is what is completely different from theater. So it's good to have the sitcom effect of hearing a live audience, but you really appreciate the live audience when you do live theater, because once you start to play, there is no stop. Let's go back to the beginning. Let's get a different angle. Or cut. Let's move the camera. No. Once the play starts, it goes straight through without stopping, regardless of mistakes, sets falling over, you tripping, mistakes made. You've got to just cover for it. Live theater is, well, some of us love live theater because sometimes the joy is just seeing what a person is going to do when a mistake happens. I've actually had an audience, one show I was doing had these humongous sets, and this particular theater didn't believe in having a tech rehearsal. A tech rehearsal basically means you're running through the play to rehearse all the set moves, the set moves, you're blocking on stage, making sure everything's right, nobody gets hit or run over by anything. So you're rehearsing, lights, everything's put together as a rehearsal so that when the opening night happens, then, you know, all the mistakes are hopefully ironed out. Well, this particular theater, they always have tech rehearsals with a full audience. I mean, so when this theater usually have just enough time to bring your huge set onto the stage, put it together, and then that night you got to do the run through in a new set, in a new location with a set and a place that you've never really worked in before, and it's with an audience. So are mistakes going to happen? Yes, because it's your first time as actors, the set's first time being in there, the people who are working the set, their first time being in there. And so, you know, it was kind of rocky when we had the run through. A few set pieces fell over and different things like that, but we were feeling it was a terrible show, but we made it through it. So after the tech rehearsal, there was like a reception with the audience, and several people said, well, we just love to come to the tech rehearsal with the audience because, you know, you're apt to see all kinds of mistakes. I said, okay, so you like watching mistakes on stage when you're paying your money? Well, first of all, there's a discount, but no, more importantly, they said, well, it's not really the mistakes we like to watch. We like to watch how the actors are going to handle the mistakes, because that's where the true acting is. Now, regardless of whatever the show is about, this particular audience really came just to see how well the actors in each production are able to adjust on the spot whatever mistake happens on stage in front of an audience, which is the essence of live theater. But usually most theaters spend a week sometimes on tech rehearsals where they're working on everything. This particular theater's turnaround was so quick that once a show closes, 2 days later a new show runs in, rehearse that night, open the next night. That's how fast their turnaround was, which is just what they did all the time. But they just happened, somewhere in the history of the theater, realized that people love to watch the tech rehearsal for that purpose. So that's what it is. So when you, as an actor in live theater, drop anything on stage, don't ignore it. If you drop something on stage and ignore it, whatever you dropped on stage is now the star of the show, because everybody in the theater is looking at what you dropped, wondering who's going to pick it up. So you dropped it, pick it up. I mean, in real life, we drop something, we knock something over. Oh, so I'm so sorry about that. You pick it up, just keep your scene going, because it looks like it's actually blocked to knock it over. And sometimes things are actually obviously things that happen. Like, yeah, I did one show where a girl's wig fell off. because she turned her head too fast and it wasn't attached to her real hair well enough. So when she turned her hair, the wig just went flying. Now, of course, those of us who are on the stage with the young lady, our biggest acting challenge at that point was not losing it in laughter, because the audience knew that was a mistake. But yet the scene wasn't really a comical scene. It was kind of emotional, because that's why her head was going back and forth. So we had to just bite our inner lip not to completely lose it when that wig went flying. Now, did she let the wig stay on the floor and become an animal walking across the stage? No. She added incredible improv that she did right on the spot about her hair, and went and picked it up and then put it back on her head. It was actually kind of sideways when she did it. But it didn't matter, because the audience appreciated the fact that she threw a little improv with the wig and ad-libbed it and put it back on her head, kept the scene going, and we made it through it. And that scene, when it ended, when the lights went down to go to the next scene, it got more of an applause, mainly because of an obvious mistake that was creatively covered. And so those are the parts about acting that you have to be ready for, especially in theater. See, if that was film, cut, do it again, attach the hair to her head, please. I mean, they're going to stop for something like that in a film or television. But live theater, you know, what do when something happens on stage? You acknowledge it happened and continue on with it and go with it. That's basically what you do in live theater. The other thing I want to mainly cover in this episode, I covered those techniques, is the curtain call. Now, the curtain call is when, of course, the play has been done and all the actors come out and take their bow, and you get a chance to, oh yeah, and you applaud the different roles of who came out, and get to acknowledge everybody that's in the play as a group, individually, as they come out individually, and then they take a bow as a group. Now, the curtain call is very important, because, say, for example, if a casting person is out there and they didn't have the program with them, and they're trying to remember who was that played the such a character, and oh, that's right, and you come back out and they want to know your name, that's the person I want to know, because they might have made a note in their bulletin, oh, whoever's playing that role right there, that's who I want to call in for an audition. Well, say they didn't have a name, but they know the character, but who is the actor, what is his name? And then you come out, take a bow. Now, even if they don't say your name in the curtain call, you've just refreshed their memory of who it is they want to call in. They may wait for you after the bow is over, and they wait for you, the audience, for, you know, a lot of people wait to meet the cast and to tell you how much they enjoyed it. Now, some cast members, whether they think, you know, the part they're doing is too small, or they're really upset that they're even doing this particular play, they'll just get dressed at the end of the play and not come out at all for the curtain call, because they felt that, hey, you know, that's curtain call. I don't really believe in intermingling with the audience. I'm out of here. So they totally skip the curtain call. First of all, that's disrespectful to the play and your cast members, because theater etiquette is, once the play is over, the cast is acknowledged, everybody takes a group bow. Now, if you don't want to stay for the mingling with the audience, you got to run out after you take the stage bow, lights go down, you need to leave, boom, take off. But there's a benefit also in the people who want to talk to you, because, you know, a lot of times it's family and friends, but sometimes it's casting people or producers or somebody who wants to use you in a future project, and you took off, and they go like, well, I was hoping to meet the person, because they see how you were on stage, but to actually physically talk to you lets them know what your personality is about, and if this is something that somebody I really want to work with in a project, because they egotistical or they're personable. I mean, a lot of learning comes out when you take the time to shake the hands of people who wait to see you at the end of the play. So there's value in the curtain call, and there's value in mingling with the audience after the curtain call. A lot of times, like I said, a lot of people think that's a waste of time. They got to get out of here, go to the next thing. Now, if you got to go to work, you got to go to work. But when you don't have to rush away like that, take the time to enjoy those two powerful moments in theater, the curtain call and mingling with the audience after the production. Hey, so that was mainly what we're talking about. A little bit about live theater, the differences of that, but mainly I really want to get the point about the curtain call and mingling with the audience after production, because we're all in this business to let people know what we can do, and if they want to meet us, to call us in for another project. That's all worth it. At the time of this taping, actually, I just got called by a young lady who saw a production I was doing, and she's now doing a production, and she's got the thing all cast, and she's had some auditions, but she called the producer of the play I was doing at the time, and she said, the actor that played that role, yeah, she knew my name. She said, I want him to come in, I want Fitz to come in and play the part of blah, blah, blah. He doesn't have to audition because I already know his work because I saw that play. So here's a great opportunity that I'm really excited about, where I'm being cast in a play because they like what I did in the previous play, cast me because they like what I did in that play, and are inviting me to accept this role, which is what every actor's dream is. You don't have to deal with that audition process, because people like your work, they know your work, and they're willing to just call you in. So you want that kind of reputation in both television and film. Of course, film, you're dealing with politics of celebrities and other stuff, but that's a whole nother episode. We'll get into the politics of acting on another episode. Hey, thank you so much for tuning in. My name is Fitz Houston, breaking down the barriers. I will see you next time. God bless.